We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Let's transition over to Tech Talk with Erica Wallace.
This week we are looking at an app that's going to help us keep track of all of our inventory in our homes. The app's called Visual Inventory. It'll do it actually by room, so you can go from corner to corner, and I think the idea is that a lot of times when we're getting estimates, you miss certain items, and this allows you to do everything from, the refrigerator and the cabinets to your smallest items of jewelry, and you can do it room by room, so it's also sort of a visual inventory of where the items are located.
Well, let's face it. I mean, if you're planning on moving, and I know that when I had a dialogue with my moving company, they asked me, how many U-Haul worth of furniture do you have? And it's very difficult to gauge. So it's really nice to be able to have a tool that says, hey, let me just send you all the pictures of the various rooms that I have.
Right, and I think, too, you can also give the estimates of the items, and when you're maybe getting your kitchen redone, you remember exactly how much those cabinets cost and exactly how much those appliances cost. But down the road, 5 or 6 years later, you might not know the way you know when you're doing it. So this allows you to kind of keep everything in one central location.
Erica, how can they get it?
If they just search Visual Inventory in the App Store.
Awesome.
Thanks, Erica. Now, when you're checking out projects, tell me a little bit about what is your initial analysis that you put in when you're looking at a project?
Well, one thing we like to focus on, what we think the end sales price will be, and kind of work back from that. And then, we have, with all of our experience, we have a pretty good understanding of what it's going to cost to get things done. And we've been doing this 5 years. So what we knew 5 years ago, 4 years ago, what I knew last year compared to what I know today is just, it's night and day. We just learned so much. So we can kind of walk into a property, do our assessment. We've got some nice apps on our phone that help us, that day come up with a good rough idea of what it's going to cost to get it where we need it.
Now, you've got a bird dog program as well. They could call you up if they know of a property that's, by the way, is not on MLS, because you have access to that already, but a deal that's off MLS, you'll pay them a finder's fee.
Yes, our bird dog program, which is on our website, brownstonерg.com, will pay $1,000 to anyone who brings a property to our attention that we actually purchase. No questions asked, $1,000. And we've done that many, many times. A lot of people have taken advantage of that.
And I want the listeners to gain an appreciation for this. Chris, when you said that your sweet spot is single-family homes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys would not entertain or analyze a two-family or a three-family home, correct?
We've done several two-families.
Okay.
Definitely a few condos. Couple commercial properties.
All right, awesome.
But there's more opportunities with the single-family market, obviously.
Now, have you also been involved in sort of cooperative arrangements with other investors?
Oh, absolutely. You'd be surprised that a lot of the investors all work together. While they're competitors, we always work together with contractors and referrals, and it's a pretty cooperative group out there.
What we tend to do is bring in other experts and really educate, the prospect or the client, okay? Mm-hmm. Here's what you have, here's what you may want to do, and these are the reasons why.
That opens up the question, what type of professionals do you bring in terms of giving the requisite advice to your clients?
Well, an example this time of the year would be a CPA, all right? Dealing with clients, accountants, very, very important, okay? And they feel very comfortable when there's other professionals that they're dealing with.
Right.
Also an attorney. Does a client have a will, durable power of attorney, a healthcare proxy? If they're older, have they done a trust? On the mortgage side, Rick mentioned something very important. Most people, from a psychological standpoint, when they retire, want to have no mortgage. Mm-hmm. Whether it's financially sound or not, 99% of the people I meet with, and at the end of the day, it's what the client is comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So bringing someone in like Rick, talking about rates, about a short, intermediate, long-term plan, all is in their financial life. So I think these things are very important.
Right.
We had a client that was introduced to you, Mike, and I had a conversation with him, and he said, "You know what? Mike gave me a really interesting statistics. An average American has 20% of their overall gross annual income allocated to their vehicle." Which I think was crazy. And then he says, Mike told me that I need to reduce that down to 10% and take that 10% savings and put it into all these various vehicles. And his eyes were just wide open in terms of the types of bare bones advice that you're offering these clients.
Right.
So kudos to you.
One of the biggest things that you guys can bring to the table as buyers agents is really making sure and keeping their expectations under control, and also showing them how to put their best foot forward. And if they have to overprice on a property, you can kind of keep them in. Yeah, you know what? They might have gone a little bit low on putting the offer, so we might have to go maybe $15,000 or $20,000 higher. But you feel that the market is available. I mean, you sort of go through this analysis with the buyers, correct?
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think if a buyer goes right to the listing agent, they're not going to get that same analysis.
That's right. Yeah, well, you need to make sure the buyer's comfortable with what they're doing, because the last thing you want is obviously cold feet after the accepted offer happens. So that's bad for everybody. So we definitely coach them, educate them as much as possible so they're comfortable. But yeah, the market is going up. So a lot of times, to make sure you lock in the low interest rates now, keep your monthly payments where they need to be, then you need to maybe go over the asking price.
Carey, you have a exciting new listing that's coming on the market.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that listing.
I'm very excited about it. It's a 2-family right in Davis Square. It literally is steps away. It's 50R, meaning rear, College Avenue. So the nice thing about that, even though it's right in the square, it's kind of set back from the main road.
Nice.
So when you're there, it's pretty quiet, and you don't necessarily know you're right in the city.
Nice. It's a 2-family?
It's a 2-family. It has 7 bedrooms. It has parking, and it's going to be listed. It's not even on the MLS today yet, but it's going to be listed for $950,000.
And Chelsea, you have an exciting listing coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
I do. It's on Central Street in Somerville, right outside Union Square. It's a single-family home with a in-law property or in-law apartment on the 3rd floor. Wow. It's a beautiful home. It's got a beautiful full-size porch on the front, a grand entrance when you walk in, beautiful detailing, a beautiful fireplace in the dining room, and beautiful pocket doors. And it's really, you just have to see it to believe it. It's beautiful.